Hello, everyone, and welcome to Loral Langemeier's weekly market awareness update. Very happy to have you here joining us from across the planet on social platforms, podcasting tools, and everything in between. Very happy to have you here today, as we are very happy to have one of the special guests of our community joining us for an in-depth discussion at the role that they play and how they can help everyone on their conversation from changing their approach to money from 9-to-5 math to millionaire maker math. So Laurel, go ahead and get started. A lot of people are looking forward to today's episode and don't want to waste a minute getting to it.
Absolutely. So welcome again. This is our AskLoral.com every Tuesday, 12 noon. Put it in your calendar and continue to invite others for a money conversation. It changes every week because money touches your life everywhere, from making it to keeping it, investing it with the team. When I wrote the Millionaire Maker book, there's a couple really big distinctions. Was our gap analysis of always tracking where you are financially, and even more importantly was sequencing, which is doing the right thing at the right time with your financial moves. And too many of you are making the wrong moves because you're listening to Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, Dave Fox. Those things do not work. Well, they do if you want to stay kind of broke and, flat. But if you want to be a millionaire and you want to make money and thrive in this economy, which the most volatile economies create the most money and the most transition of wealth. So a lot of you during our journeys and our events have said, I really, want to dig in more. Some of you have committed and actually in our coaching or VIP or 100K or a big table. And some of you are still, standing on the sideline and deciding, is this the community you want to join? And a lot of you said, I need to know more about iFlip. And in the sequencing, there is a box, a thing you have to do called your wealth account, which is not putting money in the savings account. It's putting money into a wealth account, which is for other assets. And Randy Tate is our guest today, and I'm going to have him talk about iFlip, which is a software. It's a fintech company that is on the run. It was started by he and a few people outside of the table, a few inside the table. And I'm an owner, investor, love the platform, and he's here to share that with you. A lot of you have been asking, so we said, all right, we'll bring him to a public platform and let him have a conversation about the software and the AI and how it all works. And for you guys then to use it as a wealth account, jump back over to your coach and say, how do I get all this set up so I'm using it properly? Before I introduce Randy, the only other thing you got to do, and Steve can put it up in the chat, is make sure if you have not done our campaign, we are jamming. We'll give some more updates and acknowledgments of those who are earning their way to success with the 100K Blueprint. And that is, you have to go to askloral.com/spring, and you're going to spring into action, get a reset for your financial infrastructure, and you can earn 3 gifts of well over $3,000. So make sure you jump into our campaign and keep that moving. So with that, Randy Tate, I'm going to hand you the controls and talk about iFlip as a wealth account and also being a member of this community. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Laurel. Like always, it's an absolute pleasure to speak in front of your community. It's probably it is my favorite one to speak with and speak in front of, and I appreciate all you do for our company and for the world in general, because this conversation around money isn't a joke, and the way the world's going, it's becoming more and more and more important. And so we're just real happy to be part of this community. Now, a lot of you had asked, apparently, to learn a little bit more about the software. So what I'm going to do is twofold on this call here. I'm going to, number one, talk about Flip, tell you guys how the software works, what AI is, why it's a valid investing tool in the modern financial era, and where we fit inside this community. There's different roles that different groups play. Some people help you set up entities. Some people help you with sales training. There's leadership calls. There's, bigger investing. There's different investing fields. There's, all kinds of stuff. We like to sit in our own little niche, which Laurel referred to as a wealth account. We're your hyperactive savings account, if you will, a nice place for you to park money while you're hunting other investments or just trying to figure out what you want to do with your money. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we go through this presentation. I think I can share my screen. And I'm going to walk you guys through a little short deck. And I see a lot of the names on here. Many of you know us, so it's a little bit different conversation than we regularly have with it. Let me see if I can start this from the beginning. But the information is pretty standard as far as my presenting it out. So Flip. Let's talk about Flip first, and we'll talk about where we fit as we go. Flip is an acronym. It's the Financial Learning Information Platform. We are truly that. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Randy Tate. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders. My background is in education, believe it or not, originally. I took that into small business, ran a small business, grew it, sold it to a publicly traded company. I've done lots of business education, spoke with Loral all over the world, done lots of training and education around it. I am also a consumer software expert. I spent several years at Infusionsoft, helping that company grow and leading their small business education division. So I'm an expert in the software space, expert in education, and now what we've brought to market is the Financial Learning Information Platform. And really what we are is we're a financial technology company that offers AI investing solution directly to consumers. A couple of things that we've done that's very unique is we've built a system that we've, what's the right statement here, that's been proven now. We've now proven it. And why did we build it? Well, we built it because the landscape of investing is flawed. There are real problems in financial services. And that leaves us with very few options if we see the problems in financial services. And I don't want to go to my financial advisor, and you've all heard us talk about why that's bad, fees, risk, returns, those kinds of things. I'm relegated to real estate, which can have its own issues. And I really want to be clear, this is not a stock market versus real estate versus any of that stuff. No. They're all part of your portfolio. And what we like to talk about is being the foundation, the wealth account, as Loral puts it, not a savings account where you're putting money in your Bank of America account, earning that 0.001% interest. We're talking a place for your money to live and grow, allowing you a little more bandwidth to do your due diligence, to do your homework. And this whole thing came out of the investing landscape being extremely flawed. And let's talk a little bit about some of those flaws. There's two majors. Number one, the approach, the way in which they invest your money. The professionals have really good tools. However, they don't even use their tools on the little people. And when I say little people, those that have less than $50, $60 million of investable assets. To get proper approach, you would need a private banker at a place like Goldman Sachs or be able to invest in some of the big hedge funds to get that. The little guy's forced to settle. And the other big approach that's wrong, and you're going to hear me talk a lot about this, is diversification. Many of you have heard that diversification is your friend. That's how you mitigate risk. Diversify. That way you're spread out and it doesn't cause you too much grief if something goes down. That's actually a myth. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is the ambiguity around the way you spend money, the way you pay for it. Every service has a fee. We're a SaaS fee. We're a simple subscription model. You pay one flat fee to get set up and then a simple monthly subscription as long as you're using the platform. It's simple, it's not confusing, it's not ambiguous, and it's easy to understand. However, the traditional approach, they charge you based on assets. They charge you based on how much profit did you make or not make, and they're really confusing the landscape around it. And what's happened is there's been a large number of companies that have sprung up over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And there's all kinds of new shticks and angles. We'll invest your change. We'll let you trade yourself for free. Everybody knows Robinhood. Free trading. Great. Yay. Awesome. Only problem is most of us don't know how to trade. So that's the problem. And everyone's trying to find a new angle. Here's the problem. It's all new lipstick on the same pig. It all requires you to lock up money. It requires you to trust somebody else that's going to have an opinion or an emotion. Or the hardest thing to get over is it's going to require you to do something. And believe it or not, most people don't like to do something. So when we talk about a wealth account, we talk about this community, and you're out doing your homework, you're doing your due diligence on investment deals. You're trying to find a place to put your money and get it working and get it invested. Well, you don't want to be thinking about managing your money in the stock market, and you also don't want your money just sitting there losing or making basically no money inside a traditional savings account. We fit both of those niches, and we have one simple solution: SmartFolios. Now you might ask, what is a SmartFolio? Well, a SmartFolio is the first truly AI-driven consumer investment vehicle. This is important because we take the emotion completely out of trading. There's no emotion here. No reason to get excited. No reason to watch the news and go, this person's president, or that person's the senator, or that bill passed, or that country blew up a bank, or it doesn't matter. It's all based in mathematics, and it's AI, so it's all in the SmartFolios. Now, how did we come up with these? Many of you know my business partner. He does some of these updates often, and he does a weekly newsletter and a monthly call where he comes on. Everybody in our company gets to go on and see him do the AI circle. But Kelly Korshak, because he's not on here, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. He attended Stanford's physics program at the age of 16. Most of you that have seen me talk know that. He gets embarrassed when I say that. He's managed billions of dollars on Wall Street for some of the most elite institutions and individuals. He's managed hedge funds for millionaires and billionaires. And so what we've done is we've taken Kelly's philosophy, Kelly's mathematics, and we've built it into software that is completely automatic. It's managed for you. It's a do-it-for-you system where we have 12 different SmartFolios that are designed to simply do two things: perform better than the market, and perform better than the market while putting you at less risk. So less risk, better return over time. We are not some type of day trading 100% return a year mechanism. However, we are a risk managed, steady growth vehicle. Now, what does that look like? What is a SmartFolio? People always ask. Well, like I said, our SmartFolios are the first truly AI-driven consumer vehicle. And what true AI means simply is this. True AI means that we are not an algorithm making trades. Those exist. A simple algorithm making trades, you've heard of the black boxes back in the day, or someone's secret sauce because they have a quote unquote algorithm. Well, an algorithm, as interesting as it is, decays and will eventually fail, particularly in the stock market. What AI does is every one of the algorithms, and we have, I think, 12 of them right now, has multiple algorithms behind the scene giving the algorithm new data. So its new data means it's living, it's changing, it's learning. Our machine learns. It's different today than it was last month. And that's sort of our secret, not sort of, that is our secret sauce. Our AI learns. Our performance proves it. We've shown it, and I'm going to show you some statistics here in a minute. But the bigger component of it is we protect you against the downside of the risk. So when the market takes big drops like a COVID or a Brexit or a 2007-8, when those things happen, you want to be out of the market before it happens. That's what our AI does. Now, the last question I'll tell you to ask, if someone tells you that their mechanism is AI-driven, one simple question: can the machine where the algorithm changes its rules without a human interfering? Or does a human have to go in and reprogram it? Because if a human's going in and reprogramming, that's not AI, that's just an algorithm. Still better than a human, but not nearly as good as AI. Now, what does that look like over time, right? So let me show you about performance, because performance matters. We're here for returns. That's what we're here to learn about. Part of our unique value prop, which is what we do, that's our unique value proposition, is the AI-driven, fully automated. It is designed to outperform the market over time. Now, I want to give you guys a little education here. And this is comparing apples to apples. If you can see my little cursor here on the screen, the blue line represents the S&P 500. That is the benchmark for all investing. It doesn't matter what widget or thing you're investing in. If you can't beat the S&P 500, you should just put your money in the S&P 500. Or if you can't find vehicles with much lower risk, and that's as you learn, as you join this community and you start learning about money rules and things of that nature, that's what we want to talk about: performance and risk, performance and risk. So when you look at our software back in 2018, when the market was pretty flat, look at that, almost identical. The gray line is one of the best performing mutual funds, a big mutual fund by Fidelity. And the orange is the AI, trading the S&P 500. So if you notice, though, what happens, nothing until the end of 2018, if you can see the orange line going flat right here, this is very important. The orange line goes flat, the other two lines go down. Now, that big, giant, diversified mutual fund, what do you notice about it? Well, if you go all the way to the end of February this year, it didn't perform as well as the S&P 500 over the same amount of time. And it performed almost identical. So you're really reducing risk, paying all those fees to that mutual fund to reduce that risk, and it's still not happening. On the other side, look over here around COVID time. Big drop. Yep, our software went down too. Our software went down, our average person went down about 9%. The market was down over 30. So we skip the dips. Then what happens over time, as you can see here, is you create a giant delta by skipping the downturns. If you notice during the flat and the up times, we're just doing the exact same thing as the market. Where it's important is managing the risk. That's what generates performance. So now if we take that and we say, okay, what does that look like over time? Well, we back test the two that are circled there. That's live data. That's real trading. The ones before that are all back tested, the AI versus the market. And if you look over time, since all the way back to 1987, we've saved an average of 24%. That is not a small deal. So if you take that back test all the way to 87 and you notice a significant reduction in risk, and those last two are real data. You know, in 2018, I remember this, many of our clients, almost 90% of the money our software trades was out of the market in October. The major dip didn't happen until Christmas Eve. So in November and early December, people were calling me, why am I out of the market? Why am I out of the market? Why am I out of the market? I don't know. I don't do the math. That's Kelly's job. And then on Christmas Eve, the market took a huge drop. Well, we lost about 3%. Everybody else lost about 20. Now, fortunately, for most of the people that are in this red category right here, the market recovered fairly quickly. But if you take that back to 2007, that market didn't recover quickly. That 57% drop over time took 10 plus years to get back, not one. And so we've all heard what's going on in the markets. Everybody's got their own opinions about it, but the markets are due for a correction here at some point. It will happen. And we say, wouldn't it be nice to make sure you have that AI in the background protecting you from it? Okay, so when you see that, that's the biggest thing: reward and risk, reward and risk. And wouldn't it be better as you're going through this community and you're meeting the people in this community and you're learning about investing and setting up all your stuff and understanding money rules and all the stuff Loral's teaching you guys, wouldn't it be nice to have your money sitting in a spot like this where it's gaining and being managed against the risk. And oh, by the way, it's completely liquid. There's no time frame where for you to have to hold it. So, that's the idea right there. Now, real quickly, where to from here? What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my screen off and I'm going to give you guys a real quick demo and show you what the software looks like. Now, I know there's a handful of you on here that are longtime customers, and a few of you haven't yet moved to the new platform. So I'm going to show the new platform, and we're about 80 to 85% of our customers are now on our new version. So you people that have been here a while, don't get jealous. We'll get you over. It's all coming. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick little demo of what it looks like. Let me pull this over here. Hopefully. All right. So this is what the home screen of the app looks like. It's pretty cool. And when you're looking at this, you can say, okay, what's going on? Well, you really only have a handful of screens over now. I'm not going to give you a full demo, but it truly is as simple as hit the start trading button. When you hit the start trading button, everything you see in blue, these are all algorithms, and you can see the market's down today by a lot. Or if you're a super smart person and you want to trade yourself, you just go over here and click manual, and you can buy and sell whatever you want as often as you want. It's as simple as that. Click on a SmartFolio, put the amount of money you want in, and hit go. So people say, wow, that's interesting. And this is what it does. It'll show you the performance, how this particular SmartFolio has done over time. So in this particular case, you can look at this one quarter by quarter or month by month. So year over year, you can see how it's done. You don't like that one, you can pick another one and just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's how it works. And so I want you guys to see how simple it is to log on, set up an account, and I'm going to invite all of you to actually get a full demo of the software. One of the things we like to do here, particularly with this community, is where it goes on this one, current slide. What we like to do is give you guys all an opportunity to get just a private demo so that you can get on a Zoom call with Lee Gerhardt. He's on the call as well. Some of you guys know Lee. Say hi to Lee if you know him. He's on here too. And you can get a private demo of what the software looks like, what the software does, and we'll hold your hand to set it up. It's going to take you a half hour of your time, and then it becomes a fully automated money management machine. It's the Flip Financial Learning Information Platform. So it's important for you guys to know that. So if you want to do this, now for those of you that already have our contact information, or you know Lee's information already and you've already talked to him, you don't really need to do this. But for those of you that have not, we have 4 very distinct platforms for people to choose from. We have our free, we have our light, we have advanced, and we have pro. Most of the people on this call, you'll be advanced or pro. And you'll want to take advantage of the AI and all the stuff it's doing. But the cool thing is, like I've been saying, and I'm going to say it one more time, when you start really understanding the power of a wealth account, and you're not putting money in a savings, you're putting money every month into something that's going to work. It's growing, whether it's self-directed, whether it's an IRA, whether it's your Roth, doesn't matter. You want to get that thing growing. Whether you have $200 or $2 million, you got to start somewhere. And so we just want to encourage all of you to go to that site to get yourself a private demo. It will be private. It'll be just you and Lee, maybe me, and he'll help you get set up however you like. Just make sure you use that Ask Loral link that you have right there. That way we know where you came from, and that's the only way you can get the special attention that you're going to get. And so I know Lee's probably been answering some of the questions that are in here, but what other questions do you guys have, or anything you want to add, Thomas or Lee, to the conversation?
Randy, there was a question in there about cryptos. Do you want to talk a little bit about does iFlip get involved in that at all? Does it look, or what's going on there?
I was typing out a response actually as you brought that up. I can answer.
So you can type it out, Lee, and I'll talk about it.
Okay.
So 2 things on the crypto space. Currently today, you might have seen it in that example I was showing. That was one of my accounts, and we do invest through the traditional markets in the Global Bitcoin Trust. That is one way to do it. That is the proxy the stock market uses today based on what's going on in the crypto world. It's a very safe place to invest in crypto. However, you guys will be real happy to know that we are just about to release. I can't give an exact date, but it is imminent. All of our APIs are built into Coinbase already. We will be offering crypto with AI on the platform in the very near future. We are literally within a month or so. The other thing that we will be offering first, it's going to come right before that, is custom SmartFolios. You're going to be able to build your own. You're not just going to have to trust Kelly and pick what he built. You'll be able to build your own SmartFolio, which some people think is a great idea. Some people are like, don't want to do it. Let those guys do it. I just want to pick the thing and go. But crypto will be part of that. You will be able to buy crypto on our platform. You will be able to put AI on it to trade. It just took a little while for Kelly to map it. We have to map it mathematically so that you have an advantage. And again, there are a few crypto bots out there, just an algorithm. Algorithms decay and they will eventually fail. So you want to make sure you're managing your expectations and the way you're putting your money to work. So I hope that answered the question. What else we got? Thomas, can you help me with some questions? Because
yep, there's a question there. Jenna had a question about minimums that Lee was getting to. I do want to confirm, what are some of the platforms let me put it this way. Do people have to have, or where do people have to have brokerages accounts set up to work with iFlip? Or how does that technically work?
Yep. So in order to use the iFlip software, you have to have an account with our broker. It's an easy process to trade over. It's not a difficult thing at all. So if you have money at a Fidelity or a Schwab or Merrill Lynch, it's real easy for us to move either your current stock, your current platform, whatever you're doing, over to our side of the house. If you have self-directed funds, like a self-directed 401k or a Roth IRA, we can manage those accounts as well, and we can move them over for you as well. We don't charge you to do that. There's no fees, there's no cost, there's nothing to it. We will move it and help you set it up. We have an entire team that does that to make your life easy. That is the intent, is to make your life easy. So the money moves to our brokerage. The other reason we do that is we're a software company. We don't touch your money. If we went out of business tomorrow, maybe our whole flip team gets in one giant plane crash and we all burn up and there's no more flip. Well, your money's still at the brokerage, and it's just like being at any other brokerage, same brokerage insurance, same federal government insurance on it, and you can go get it. If you own a bunch of stock in there and the software dies, you now just own the stock. So pretty simple process there.
And if I can, a couple of the questions were the same, asking about the minimums to basically use the software. So we don't really have like a hard and fast minimum, but the SmartFolios themselves, the minimum investment is different. You know, some are higher than others are lower. I would just say if you guys have questions on that, use that link that's on the screen now and I can walk you through it one-on-one. The other question was about liquidity, how liquid the funds are. And then the last one that I've seen was, what if someone doesn't have an account already? Randy, we've talked about moving, an account from where it is now to us, to our brokerage account. Maybe just talk to them about how they would set up a new one.
Oh, yeah, it's real simple. That's one of the neatest things about our platform. If you just have money in a checking or a savings account and you want to invest that, it's no different than like Venmo. You'll just move the money right to our brokerage. You'll automatically be able to set up a brokerage account. So you'll now have one through our platform. And then it's as easy as Venmo and money or PayPal money back and forth from your bank account to your brokerage account. No different. You'll be able to log into both, move the money back and forth, point and click on your phone or on your laptop. Either way, super easy. And you can invest with very little money. It's the minimum price of a stock. To take advantage of the AI, though, you're going to need a little bit of money in there. Some of them, at least if you can start with a few $1,000, 10 grand or more, even better. We have people that have over $1 million on the platform trading. No maximum, just minimum.
Then the other two, how can this be used for non-U.S. residents? And then another one about the TFSA account in Canada, if you want to cover those.
Canada. Canadians, I love you guys. Your government is really hard to work with in this space. Depending on the size of the account, there are different rules and regulations around it. So get a demo with Lee. He can walk you through the specifics of Canada. For instance, it was much easier for us to set up Mongolia than it was Canada, believe it or not. We are currently functioning in 9 countries. We're in the UK, Iceland, the Middle East, all over the place. The app works well. Canada's a lot more manual. We got a lot more work to do. So if you're a Canadian and you're on here, join a call with Lee. And if it doesn't work for you today, we are taking steps to make it easier for Canadians to invest. If you happen to have a US bank account, that's the easiest way to do it. But there are other options.
And I think that's all of them so far.
So again, folks, if you have any questions, go ahead, put them into the chat box. We will go ahead and answer them here in the final minutes of the call here. But to get that private demo, go to askloral.com/iFlip. You'll get to learn more about how the system itself works and be able to take advantage of that appropriately. Again, being able to use this as a wealth account, a great strategy that Loral's talked about for people in her community, and something that you all can emulate at the same time too. Randy, as we're waiting for those final questions, your final thoughts on taking advantage now versus waiting?
Well, the power of compounding, I'm sure doesn't need to be, pressed here in this type of an audience. Days matter, weeks matter, months matter, years matter. We just went through a year where you guys saw the performance because there was a big dip. You want to get your money working in the markets before the big dip so you can take advantage of what's coming. Whether it comes in July or December, we don't know, but the math is pointing towards a correction in the market. The market is not happy and it's not stable right now. And so getting money in position to take advantage sooner than later is critical. You don't want to be in the position that says, dang, I wish I would have. Darn, if I had only. When we took the money out of the market, when our software pulled the money out of the market in early February, before the COVID crash, there were other things pointing to a correction. No one was expecting quite that, but the fact that we were out and it happened was great. And then it put the money, almost all of it, went right back in. I remember the date very well, March 17th. Like $20 million of our clients' money went plop right back into the market. And you saw it on that graph I showed you, wrote it up. So timing is important, Thomas. And the best time is now. The faster you can get an appointment on Lee's calendar, the better. And the faster you can get, I'm assuming I'm going to see most of these people in Boise. I will be there, so will Lee. We'll all be in Boise at the big table up there. I'll be teaching things like money rules and other language and some leadership stuff, as well as introducing you guys to some of the other things this community offers. And, get it going, get it set up before you get to Boise.
Absolutely. Now, there was one more that we had on there. Lee, I don't know if you saw that about the fees, but we'll go ahead or I'll let you go ahead there, Lee. Sorry.
Yeah. So as Randy said, and they're right here, we have the 4 different plans: the free, light, advanced, and pro. They're, it can be free, or you're paying $0 a month. It can be $10 a month, 37 or 77, depending on the plan, depending on how many accounts you want to set up, and a number of other factors. It's probably easier to take that conversation offline, but those are the monthly subscriptions. If Randy wants to add anything to that.
Yeah, it is important for you guys to understand that it is a flat fee. There are factors that determine what it is. The Advanced and Pro, they also have an upfront cost. One's $9.97, one's $19.97. People ask, well, why do you have an upfront cost? Why can't everything be free? Well, it'd be nice if everything was free, but we pay some very good people on the Advanced and Pro. You get a lot of education, you get a lot of time, you get Lee and a bunch of others to help you. You also get different types of IRA accounts, a bunch more SmartFolios, and there's a whole lot of other stuff that comes with it. Free and light are for beginners just getting going. We want them to learn and be part of everything we're doing. And so That's the big difference. But Lee can speak to you about which one's right for you, and we want you to be in the one that's right for you.
And then where did it go? The last question was Mary Lou Robinson. I have an iFlip account, haven't looked at it in a while. How do I change over to the new system? So there's nothing that you need to do on that. We'll reach out to you and let you know when we're able to move the account. We're kind of moving them in batches based on different criteria. And so there's nothing you need to do, but we'll reach out once we're ready to move it over and we can help with the whole process.
Yeah, and if you're really urgent to move or something like that, and I don't know where you're at in the queue, so you can email Lee, or you could even email me, and I can find out where you're at in that queue. We anticipate in the next 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, having everybody moved, with the exception of a few Canadians, because there's some issues with the Canadians moving over to the new platform.
Got it. All right. Well, Randy, Lee, thank you so much for joining us today. Always happy and excited to have you on, giving us updates and watching iFlip blow up the way it has been. For those of you who are listening, go to askloral.com/iFlip so you can schedule that demo, learn more, and get connected with the team on how you might be able to move forward. They will go ahead or that link is in the chat box below. We'll go ahead and put it in the show notes so you all have access to that. Thank you all for your questions today. We appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Randy, Lee, I'll let you have the last word before we end the call here. If there's anything else you wanted to address or bring up on the call today.
Just thanks for joining. Hope this was useful information. Hopefully you decide to give us a whirl, and I probably do speak for Lee, but I look forward to meeting all of you or seeing all of you again in Boise.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us this week. We look forward to seeing you next week and joining the team here. Schedule that iFlip demo. It's a great tool that you need to be utilizing as soon as possible and taking advantage of. On behalf of Loral and everyone here at the IWS team, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.